pride that we should have a sportsman. No, I'm not going to shut up about that at all. I'm going to keep talking about that. As long as I'm on television, and as long as you're making those calls, and as long as you're joining the Federation of Michigan Sportsmen and getting this Practical Sportsman magazine. See, inside here, there's things in here like on page 4. You don't want to zoom in on this. You got to read page 4. This has some of the scoop about the lawsuit. This has some of the scoop about some of the things. I have an editorial. Will justice be served? It has some things in here that we communicate. In fact, throughout this magazine, there's many things that we can communicate to you that I'm not going to do on public television. I don't want to jeopardize this television show, but I'll walk around the edges. We have it in this magazine. It's practical information. It's good information. It's honest information. Now, if you want an honest show, you want to know how the deer figures are, you want to know what my opinion is, we're going to tell you. That's what you are pledging for. That's what you're supporting here when you're calling. We have all these pledges. $50 for the subscription to the magazine, $75 for the magazine and the hat, $100 for the magazine and the recipe book, $150 for the art print and the subscription, which includes the membership. You want the whole works? If you can do the whole works, $300. Art print, hat, recipe book, membership, magazine, everything, $300. Charge it. MasterCard, Visa, send a check, send cash, send a money order, bring it down to the station, whatever you want, but call that number. That is what has kept me on the air. That's why you're watching a Big Buck Night. We're halfway through it, and we are getting to the monsters, so stay tuned. News item from the files of the Dexter Leader. 25 years ago, they reported, here's what it said. Among the deer hunters in the area this year was Mary Lynn Doletsky, who spent Saturday, November 18th morning hunting, returned home for lunch, and reported to the hospital that afternoon to give birth to a daughter at 6:42 p.m. Well, after getting that buck 25 years ago, here is the daughter, Tekla Doletsky Pitson, who's gotten married in the meantime. This year, on her birthday, November 18th, got a buck that is how big?
8 point.
8 point with a
20-inch
spread. Now, you think that's amazing. Your mother gave birth to you 25 years ago, really hours after getting a big buck. How many bucks have you taken in your deer hunting time?
I've got 12 deer so far, about 8 bucks.
Wow, that's all I
My
can
biggest
say.
one.
This is your biggest one. But that's not the end of the story of the Doletsky family. Mary Ann Doletsky, the younger sister here, got a buck this year. 10 points, huh?
Yeah.
10 points with a 20-inch spread. And how many deer have you taken?
This is my first one.
Okay, but it should be the first in a long string.
Yeah, I've been hunting for 8 years, and this is the first one I've ever got.
Boy, your sister, you were just born on the wrong day. Now, let's go to the woman, Mary Lynn, here. Mary Lynn, who's responsible for this.
Yeah.
You must be some deer hunter with some genetics for deer hunting.
Yep. I've been deer hunting with my parents ever since I was just a kid.
And your daughters have just picked it up?
We took them out with us ever since they were little.
This is quite a story. Some people refer to, like it says on restrooms, bucks and does, the men and the women and things like that, Speaking of weird happenings like that, have you ever heard of does with antlers?
Yes.
I'm going to show you a couple right now. And believe it or not, Jim Eller from Ossining is holding antlers from a doe. These are polished antlers.
Yeah, they were. I thought it was a buck when it come out, but when I went to get it out, I found out a little different.
They found out that it was a doe, and the unusual thing is I really have never seen an 8-point like this with polished antlers. That deer could have had a very frustrating fall.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Very frustrating. Let's move down here to one which would be a more typical situation with a doe, but normally they're not 10 points, a 19-inch spread. How can this qualify for our big buck contest? When you started field dressing it, you had the same problem, huh?
Yeah.
You just didn't find the plumbing there that was supposed to be for a buck.
No, it wasn't there.
Okay, well, this is Mike Hagler from Fowlerville, and you were hunting Ingham County. And this is normally the situation where a doe does not rub the velvet off her antlers, or it doesn't come off. Very weird. What's the story? Sean has a well, I don't know. What does he have there?
It's a 10-pointer that was done. He got that in the same area.
In the same area last year. And you thought maybe you even had a bigger buck this year, but this one turned out to be a doe. Boy, the confusion here is massive. But you want to see some massive confusion? We're talking about a cow elk and a big buck. I don't know what the deal is on them, but take a look at this video.
That's a cow?
Yeah.
That's a bull. He's trying to taking pornographic pictures. That looked like it. Isn't that a whitetail there?
I can't see the other
I'd
one.
like to pull up a little bit farther. You got him zoomed right in?
I got it zoomed as far as we can go.
The other one is right behind him.
Which way, left or right?
Right in behind him. Right, it's blocking the
Okay.
view. I'm afraid to pull up. I'm trying to
All
pull
right,
up.
you're all right there.
And there he goes again.
It's a buck.
Hell yes, look at the size of that thing.
Kevin Covert from DeWitt and Terry Covert from Midland shot this home video on I-75, 15 miles south of the Mackinac Bridge. Now, you can see the situation. A cow elk, undoubtedly in heat, is trying to mount a huge white-tailed buck, at least a 10 or 12 pointer, that's obviously trying to catch the in-heat scent from the back of this elk. Now, will anything come of this? No way. But Kevin and Terry Covert, thanks for sending us a magic moment of nature that few people would ever see. As we get into our 13 and 12-point bucks here, we have no idea how much confusion bucks like this have had in their past, but it looks like some of these may have had some elk heritage. I mean, right here, you saw this buck, if you watched our opening day coverage on the buck pole down in Dexter, down at the Mill Creek Sports Center. And I interviewed Glen Griffin. Look at this buck now that he has it off of the pole. Look at the tines here. Man, you got them stacked up on one side, about 6 of them. Huge tines. The longest one is
13.5 inches.
That's the record here for this evening. That must be this one over here?
Yes.
Man, what a deal. Well, you heard the story on our opening day coverage. Everybody wants to know, how'd you get this mounted so fast?
Well, I got him from the meat market, took him to the taxidermist because I didn't have a freezer to put him in, and he went ahead and jumped it ahead of a few other ones for me.
No kidding. One of the fastest taxidermy jobs in the world. Who was that?
Rick Stickler out of Ipsy.
Okay, well, very good. How about this? A 13.5-inch tine, 12-point with a 20.5-inch spread. Glen Griffin from Ypsilanti, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. We're going to move to Rich Meadowmar. We don't know quite how to handle this one either. They counted this as 1 point, although we don't know if this is 11 point, 12. I mean, the mass of this rack, if you weighed it, it probably should be about 25 points.
It's 5 pounds of horn antlers.
5 pounds of antlers. You got this down in Calhoun County on opening morning. It has a 22 3/4 inch spread. Have you ever seen anything like this, a mass like this?
This is the biggest one I've seen in the woods when I had a firearm. I saw one bigger deer about 5 years ago when we had the ice storm that would make this one look like a baby.
Uh-oh, we're into stories now. Has everybody got their boots on? Like a baby? Seriously?
I am serious. He had horns that were, it was about like only larger than the one we just looked at.
Wow. Well, you have accomplished something here, Richard. I'm glad you brought these down. We don't know quite how to deal with this, but we can say it's 5 pounds of antlers. Congratulations on that one. Now we go to Brian Deibley from Ann Arbor, another Washtenaw County buck, a 12-point with a 26-inch spread. Man, over 2 feet. Any story behind this?
Yeah, he come out of the cornfield opening morning, and my brother, he's quite the sportsman. He's hunting with a muzzleloader. And he pulled up 70 yards and his cap went off, but the gun didn't fire.
Oh!
So the deer went across into the cornfield, jumped through another fence line, come up 20 yards away from me, and I shot him.
Oh, man, what a deal. Brian Deibley has the luck. 16 years old, 12-point with a 26-inch spread. Awesome. Congratulations, Brian. Now let's look at Bill Breslin's buck here. Now, he got a 13-point, with a drop tine down here. Very strange. And another drop tine off of here, and it was broken. Could have been maybe a car hit it, or
I don't know.
we have no idea. But the story behind Bill Breslin is he's 17 years old from Galesburg, and just judging from the fact that you got this at 11:30 on opening day, and you were walking, you were going in for lunch, weren't you?
Yep.
And so what, you just spotted it?
It was laying down on the side of the path I was walking on. It just jumped up, and I pulled up a gun and shot it.
And that's how easy that was. Bill Breslin, what a story. 17 years old. A lot of young hunters are getting a lot of big bucks. We have another 13-point down here, a 23-inch spread. Steve Hess from Hastings got this in Berry County. Hold that up there. Well, you got some little bumps coming off of here. Palmation. You got this on the 22nd of November.
Correct. Yeah, I was hunting with my brother Rick and sitting there about 9:30 and got up and started walking down the fence line. And
another one of these fence line stories?
All of a sudden I looked up and I saw him running down the edge of a cornfield about 400 yards away and ran right to me, 40 yards away, stopped and turned broadside and shot him.
No kidding. Well, this is what a 13-point looks like. Get a good look at that, folks, because right now we're going to take a look at a batch of 14 points. And starting with one that some people might say it only has a 19-inch spread, but holy moly, look at this one. Bill Hoskins, Sr. from Howell, got it, Livingston County.
Mm-hmm. Yep, first buck. Yeah.
First buck?
First buck.
In all of your time of hunting. Ground blind, this was on the 27th. So you waited towards the end of the season.
Well, yeah, it was second day to the end. And
well, I tell you, Livingston County is a hot county for big bucks like that. We're going to find that all of these 14 points come from southern. Oh, holy cow, look at the size of these beams. Boy, that must score pretty high in the Boone and Crockett, huh?
161 5/8.
Wow, Mike Friesner from Sturgis got this down in St. Joseph County, a 14-point with a 20.5-inch spread, but the mass on this rack is something else. Sis, you ever got anything close to this?
This is my first buck with a gun.
Oh, my. What a way to start. 14 points. You guys are something else. Let's find out what Daniel Devonshire. Okay, you're only 18 years old. Mm-hmm. And you're from New Boston, hunting Wayne County, for crying out loud. A 14-point with a 21-inch spread. Opening morning, 7:30, 7:20 in the morning.
It's my first buck.
Oh, no! First buck as well?
I was sitting at a friend's farm, and I was looking at a buck on my side, and I got ready to shoot him, and this one come busting across the field, gonna fight him with his hair sticking up, and I swung the gun and shot this one.
Holy moly. This is incredible. Let's find out what Jason Parmeter from Milford. Okay, you're 18 years old, too. A 14-point, massive 14-point, dark one, but this is an Oakland County buck. Another southern buck, the second day of the season. 12-inch tine on this buck. How many bucks have you gotten?
First one.
Oh, no, I seriously did not know this at all. These four are all first bucks. Massive, massive. Look how dark that is for an Oakland County buck right around home, southern Michigan. All of these were around home, and we have from this area that we're in right here, a 14-point with a 22 7/8-inch spread. Russell Adams from Leslie got this in Ingham County. Russell, please, don't tell me this is your first buck.
It's not my first buck.
Okay. What'd you get last year?
11-point.
Oh, you got some luck going. I understand at the time that you got this buck, you were working in your house?
Yes, I'm remodeling the bathroom, and a friend of mine and I were plastering the bathroom. Another friend of mine stopped to tell me that this buck was in the field behind the house. So I got within 25 yards and...
Got him with your shotgun.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, okay, just to clarify this story, they were plastering the bathroom. They were not plastered in the bathroom, right?
That's right.
And this is not your first buck. It's a 14-point with a 22 7/8-inch spread from Ingham County. Congratulations on that buck, Russell Adams. Now, give a round of applause to these people. We're going to go to some bucks that are even bigger. And here is a 15-point with a 21 1/8-inch spread. Roy Jordan from Montrose got this in Genesee County. Produces a lot of bucks up there.
Right.
And you got this opening day in the afternoon.
Right.
Certified dressed at 200 pounds?
Well, just a little over 200.
Wow. A bunch of venison came with this, but look at this, baby. 15 points, big points, big rack, massive rack, 21 1/8 inch spread on that.
Correct. That's right.
Well, I mean, heck, you had a nice opening day.
I did.
You did indeed. Well, congratulations on that. Roy Jordan from Montrose. Ivan McCardle got a 16-point, but hold on, let's compare these. See, this buck is 15 points, but massive, but you have actually more points that are 1 inch or more.
Yep.
So some people would like a 16 rather than a 15. Yours has a 17-inch spread up in Mecosta County.
Yep.
It
It
was
was I got it at about 8:30 Sunday.
Boy, that's a dark rack, too. Oh, look at the drop tine. We haven't had really too many unusual bucks like that, but a drop tine off to the side. Was this a pretty easy proposition?
Yeah, he just came in, walking in, and broadside, about 50 yards away, shot him. And
How many bucks are you taking?
this is my third one.
Okay, so we have a little experience going here, but it still was mighty exciting.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I bet. Now let's move to Mark Scarberry from Ann Arbor, hunting Jackson County using a 16 gauge. One you must have bought 100 years ago.
Well, I actually got it used from a gun store out in Ypsilanti. I'm mighty pleased with the gun, and it's done good by me.
No kidding. Now this buck, this 17-point buck with a 19 1/4 inch spread, palmated, weird. Look at that, holes in the rack, tines all over the place. You got it on the 19th of November. Said you were stalking it?
Well, I'd been sitting under a pine tree all morning, and my feet got cold. So I got up and started walking around, and I heard a lot of pressure off to the woods, a ways off. So I started walking over and set myself up heading towards an alley there between the swamp and the standing corn, and I could hear him coming. He was throwing the corn rows that was flying, and the antlers were rattling in the trees, and I think I was scared, but it all happened so fast, I don't know what happened. I fired twice and hit him running off, and he fell right there.
No kidding. Well, that's great. But you moved towards him when you heard him coming.
Yep, I closed the gap, got the best shot that I could, put myself in a little better position to make the shot, and he's a small 17-point, and I had him rated by the CBM, and he only scored 141 on the atypical, but he's a trophy in our house.
A trophy in your house, you bet. It's the second biggest one by our scoring system here this evening. And let's take a look at this one. This is Tex Dismuke from Almont, who has the biggest buck here on our big buck night. A 19-point with a 23 1/4 inch spread, 10 1/2 inch tine. You got this on the third day of the season, Macomb County. Oh, what's the story? You've been hunting this, what, for 2 years?
No, we never even knew he was out there. A friend of mine, Pat, put me in a spot there, waited for him to come, set in my blind, missed a spike horn day before. This is what the result was.
So this was the third day of the season?
Well, yeah, because you couldn't really hunt down there on Sunday, so it was that second day for me.
The second day for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you were hoping for that spike.
I sure was.
I mean, what did you think when you came upon this buck when it was on the ground?
Well, when he's coming up to me, I thought he heard my heart beating. Thought he was going to turn around.
Oh, what a story. Well, that's terrific. Tex Dismuke from Almont, you got the 19-pointer with a 23 1/4 inch spread. As far as points go, this is the biggest we've come up with. We have some terrific bucks here on Big Buck Night. This has been spectacular. I want you to remember one thing, folks. Most hunters are out there hunting for venison, like Tex. He wanted a spike horn, wanted to put venison in the freezer. Those lucky hunters who have venison in the freezer find out that after a month or two, or maybe a year, the venison is gone. And a lot of them don't have too much to show for it. But look at what these guys get. They got trophies besides. They have trophies they're going to be looking at for years and years and years. It was a pleasure having you all on Big Buck Night. Thank you all so much and everybody who made it possible. So I appreciate it, and I hope you folks enjoyed it. Stick around. We want to talk about how you can keep this Big Buck Night on public TV. Big Buck Night was telecast by public television stations who can't sell commercials. They rely on donations from viewers like you to keep these programs coming your way. I want to talk to you about this, but first, let's pause to give credit to the corporate underwriters who helped pay for the production of this program.
Fred Stroh's Practical Sportsman is brought to you by Owners Insurance Company for life, home, car, and business insurance needs. Represented by independent auto owners agents in your community. by D.L. Kessler & Sons Construction, specializing in residential development and commercial construction since 1977, and by the financial support of viewers like you.
Viewers like you, we're not kidding about that. You have become the most important part of public television, the most important part of the practical sportsman of our big buck nights. Of course, we thank auto owners, D.L. Kessler Construction, all the people who cooperate, people like Rogers Printing who help out in the printing of this magazine, give us some terms on this, a few things that we need, all the other people who help us out come up with these materials. They know we've had tough times. You know we've had tough times because we were off the air for a month. The show, due to my fumbling of a lawsuit, as I said before, well, I screwed up, and I paid for it with personal bankruptcy and everything else. So we're starting off fresh show, fresh magazine. Volume 1, number 1, Practical Sportsman. I want you to have this magazine because I want you to get the inside scoop of some of the things you've seen on the show. We have information in here of things we don't get to on the show. Things that I think, as a practical sportsman, you'd appreciate. That's what this is all about. Now, these hunters that you saw on Big Buck Night, lucky. I mean, they were practical, all right. Can you believe how many of those were their first deer? Oh, well, fun to watch. That's a part of what this program is all about, a big part. Your enjoyment of the outdoors is something that I want to help make happen on Thursday nights and on the weekends. I want to send you this magazine, the Practical Sportsman magazine, and the hat, $75. We'll put this in the mail to you, this Practical Sportsman magazine. You will get a membership card, which will be to the Federation of Michigan Sportsmen. Now, if for some reason you've had a membership, or you want to see what a copy of this looks like, and make a long story short, send me your address label, and we will put you on our brand new mailing list. You will receive this issue with an insert. We have a couple different inserts with a temporary membership card good until the end of January. So we're sending this out to everybody that we can get a name on who will send in. But the best thing is, if you were a public television donator who still has time left on the subscription, you'll be getting this in the mail, hopefully next week. I mean, I can't guarantee the mail system, but I don't want to tee them off either, please. Because that's how we get this to you. You will get a membership card that you can come out with, cut out with your name and address on it. If you want to extend the membership you used to have in the Outdoors Club, you can continue your commitment and your membership with public television by sending in a contribution. $50 for the Practical Sportsman magazine and the membership in the brand new Federation of Michigan Sportsmen. $75 for this cap, made in the U.S. of A, embroidered on the front with our brand new Practical Sportsman logo. This is really set up for hunters, keep you warm. It's not a mesh hat, it's a hunting hat, and designed especially for bald-headed guys like me. And those of you with hair, you'll find it's adjustable so you can put it all the way out and fit all of your hair under the hat, if that's what you have to do. And that'll be very warm, I'm sure. Now, don't you agree, Greg? Yes, Greg agrees. If you would like our recipe book, we can send you, and remember, with these pledges, a $100 pledge, you will also get the Practical Sportsman magazine, but that is a $100 pledge, which will almost half of that will come back to you as a state tax credit if you live in the state of Michigan. That's how you get all the recipes in here that we've had for the entire year. We will have this print, $150, this print, along with the subscription to the magazine. This is the same one that is on the cover of this magazine, Deibley.